Hello and welcome back to the channel. Okay, so this video is going to basically be about Xbox and its future, because there seems to be a lot of rumours and just comments about and just things floating about regarding Xbox's future and them going third party. So I'm just going to give my opinion on the whole thing and my stance, because I'm getting a lot of weird messages from PlayStation fans thinking that I am coping and there's something, it's a lot of doom and gloom for Xbox and Xbox gamers and things like that. I'm not quite understanding this narrative. I'm sure there are Xbox gamers and there are many Xbox gamers that, like PlayStation fans, there seems to be a majority of PlayStation fans, that sort of held to consoles, the hardware, and the console war thing, and they seem to be very much tied themselves to that, to sort of a plastic box. I don't think this is so much so on the Xbox side. I don't think they're really too upset by the whole concept of third party. Many are, well, obviously many are. They don't want to. They're sort of half engrossed in the whole. But they won't mention any names. But in the whole competition thing, they seem to think if you don't have a console, then you're not in the competition, which is a weird thing to sort of just follow, a weird sort of narrative to believe in. And I'm going to sort of go through my opinion of that, and just the reason why I believe why Xbox will be going completely third party. If they do, which I don't think they will be doing, but if they do, how can I say? I've done it and sort of more or less explained why in podcast and that, but I'm going to do it here just on my own and just put it out there. So let's get into this. So firstly, let's start with the games and why I think they do this. So it's no secret that there is many media sites that are really anti-Xbox and don't want to see Xbox succeed, including their games. They basically purposely downscore their games, purposely hate on their games. I mean, here's an example from Metro, when Hi-Fi Rush released. They basically say they've downscored the game, they've lowered the score of the game based on there not being many games out for the Xbox. So they've targeted this game, thought they'll downscore the game based on Xbox not having many games. So now, this is back last year. Now Xbox are dropping lots of first-party games. This whole statement sort of oozes bias, doesn't it? How can you downscore a game because there's not many other games to play? What does that have to do with the quality of a game or the scoring of a game? Why would you sort of judge a developer's game? It writes itself, really. You can basically see the bias in this, and we're getting this from many places, including IGN. I mean, IGN have been anti-Xbox for a while now, and they're starting to show their colours even more. They're not even hiding it, basically. They're just blatantly just slating Xbox and Xbox games, and don't seem to be posting anything about Sony. They're all anti-Xbox, and it gets them clicks, so I can understand that. But they're meant to be journalists today, and gaming journalists, and this really isn't good for the whole future of gaming when you've got sort of people that are just in it for the clicks, not in it for the gaming, not in it for reporting on what they should be reporting on, but just want to just create a revenue stream, and that's all they care for. And I think that's what's happening with, just like we do get now with things like CNN and things and Fox and that are just quite happy to lie or bend the truth just for clicks and attention to make money. And it's I think it's really sort of bad just for social media and everything in general, just not just gaming, but across all platforms and the future of people. If you're being misled into believing stuff just for money, but it's not getting into that too much. I mean, we got this guy, these people here that were following this guy made a joking about it. He's done a troll tweet, but they quoted him as if he was telling the truth. And they've followed it on for it. It's just embarrassing when you get these thinkers do this. They're following rumours, following trolls. They're not doing proper journalism. They're not looking things up themselves. They're basically going on Twitter each day, and that's where they're getting their knowledge from fanboys on Twitter. And they're just posting what they read from Twitter, and that's just really lazy journalism, and it's just really bad for gaming in general. And that's where we are basically at now. We've got rumours that are going around that Xbox is going third party. And from that, it's just spread and exaggerated. We've got people now saying all their games are going over to PlayStation day one, yada yada, and just loads of stuff regarding this coming out with no actual evidence of any of it. It all started with one guy saying, my mate believes this is happening. The old Xbox games are going to PlayStation, and from that, just rumour on Reddit. It's exaggerated. Since then, the guys bounced back and said, actually, it's not true. But they've just carried on running with it anyway, regardless of what he said, even though they're sort of based. And now saying he's lying. So they was first quoting him, and now he's gone back on it and said, yeah, he's made it all up. They're now saying, oh, they can't trust him. But you trust him enough to spread his rumours, but not when he comes out and says, yeah, he made it all up. So it's just the whole concept of the whole thing is absolutely nonsense. In that time, though, Xbox have come out and basically said, yeah, there is something happening. We won't divulge in it too much now. This is what basically Phil said here and went into it. And he said they're going to go into it more detail this coming week. So we wait to see what's happening. There are some changes ahead, and so we look forward to that. On top of that, we heard Colt Eastwood recently say the following.
Platform as a subscription service, and it's like memed now, where it's like I sit on Netflix and I scroll and I scroll and I scroll until I find something that I want, right? That's not necessarily a great thing, right? So that's why like day and date stuff it's not attractive to like a lot of people. Colt, are you okay?
Yeah, I got a DM right before the show started. I wish I would have read. I'm not going to say who it's from, okay? Because I want to keep this. Next week will be better, laugh out loud. Don't believe everything you've read, exclamation point. When I talk about people that I trust, I'm talking about someone that we have 1,400 people here watching. I should do this real quick. Thank you for being here. Hold on. I got to say what I was going to say. What was it? Oh, yeah. I'm going to read it again. Because Phil said we're going to talk about it next week. And I hear you. I hear you.
We hear you.
Next week will be better. Laugh out loud. Oh, I said, sleep well. What a crappy week. And he said, next week will be, he or she, you know, next week will be better. Laugh out loud. Don't believe everything you've read. Exclamation point.
Ooh. Sounds spicy.
Guys, what I gotta read some supers here. I want you to think about that. We're gonna talk about what that could mean, because we had talked about it on the show, even when you guys were here.
Maybe only depends on who told you this, and I can tell you,
Okay, hold on. I'm going to text you who said it, and you keep it quiet.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, you texting me too?
I'll text you as well. I'm sorry. I'm looking down. You can see my wonderful thinning hair. Hey, I didn't do it. It's just genetics. Don't.
You know, they say like letting a cow lick you on the top of the head is good for the hair.
I got the text. And I won't say anything, but holy crap.
Yeah, so when we said in the show during different points that maybe only half of this is true, it's not as... What were the words? I got to look at it again because... I don't know. Where is it?
Let me grab my...
Don't believe everything you've read. That is so weird because...
Let me plug it in.
Don't believe everything you've read.
Don't believe everything you read. When some of this stuff came from really, really reputable, I'm never wrong type people.
Well, let me talk about that real quick, though. I noticed a sort of a trend that happened after Xbox era leaked out what was going on, right?
Uh-huh.
All of a sudden, I started seeing like other articles from media outlets start popping up saying the same wording. It was the same exact, like, I forgot what the wording was, but they all started off with the same sentence about Microsoft is thinking about putting Gears on such and such platform. And it's like, everyone was reading like that. I'm thinking to myself, are they just making shit up at this point? Excuse my language. Are they just making stuff up?
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm thinking. Like, it just got worse and worse and worse. It went to Forza, it went to Gears, and I'm like, okay, now this is sounding like the whole slate of games at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the mainstream media has certainly painted it that way, and for good reason, because people have said things that they tend to
because I have a feeling, and I told you this before the show.
It's not crap gamer, Donnie.
I really do feel like it's mainly the Bethesda games that are going to PlayStation 5. That's what I really think this is about. Bethesda and COD. That's all. Like, I don't really think this is as widespread as some of these outlets are saying. I could be wrong, but this is just my internal feeling until we get confirmation. Same stuff with the whole Game Pass stuff. I think these are ideas they were kicking around, but until it happens, I'm going to ride or die with Game Pass. Until it like dies for me, I'm going to be with Game Pass until the end.
Do go third party or don't. Time will tell. But I have a strong opinion on the whole thing anyway regarding the third party thing. It doesn't bother me whatsoever, basically. I'm not sure why people are under the impression that it would hurt me or, damage me in some way, or I'm coping, or any of the lot of the Xbox gamers, why it affects them in any shape, way, or form. At the end of the day, gaming is a software platform, not a hardware platform. It's a software platform. Games are software. Microsoft is a software company, not a hardware company. Sony's a hardware company, so they need to push hardware. In fact, Sony have already come out and said that their first-party games are not selling like they want to. They've got X amount of consoles on the market, but their software sales are not even close to what they want them to be. They're going to have less first-party games, AAA games. They're slowing down the production of them because they're not making enough money. Spider-Man 2, for example, cost far too much money and didn't make the money back. They're churning out more and more remasters to just as filler and to recoup some of the money lost from the games they're putting out. They've had more filler games, third-party games anyway on their platform to fill in for the lack of first-party games. They're even going down the same sort of streams as Xbox now, where they're going through subscription and cloud gaming and trying to make money from other platforms. They've already said they're going to go on mobile and all stuff like that. Sony are pretty much going down the same avenue. But anyway, let's get back onto Xbox and them going third-party and what this means. So firstly, let's just say all the games go third party. All their games go to PlayStation and Switch, Nintendo Switch. So what will Xbox gain from this? Well, we keep hearing PlayStation's going to gain 30% from all the games sold on PlayStation, and that's great for PlayStation for some reason. That's a loss for Xbox. They're not counting in the fact that Xbox will making 70% from every game sold on PlayStation, and then 70% of every game sold on Nintendo. So there's 140% in revenue increase on each game sold on both platforms. So there's that, right? So imagine they just sold, I don't know, 10 million copies of Starfield, for example, on PlayStation 5. Let's say 5 million on Switch if it goes to Switch. Think of the revenue they're going to have coming in. See, what I think is the future of Xbox is that they think about software. As I said once again, they're not a hardware company. I don't really care for that. I know gamers, for some reason, a certain fan base think it's a console war. Console war doesn't exist. Microsoft doesn't look at things that way. They're far beyond that. This is why they're number one in making money. That's why they've just overtaken Apple. They're looking at revenue. They're looking at profits. And they want to make money. And now they're jumping into the gaming. And there's a lot of money in gaming. And they want to really capitalise on that revenue. And they're not doing it with consoles. Consoles are actually holding them back. Look at Sony, for example. I'll give you another example. PlayStation 4 sold 140 million consoles, around about that much. So 140 consoles. Their games are only selling 10, 20 million. So that's 120 million consoles not buying these games. They're in fact playing into more COD and Call of Duty and Fortnite and games like that. But their first party are not reaching close to that market. So, what are you going to do when you've got 140 million consoles in the market, but, not even 50% of those people are playing these games that you're putting out? What are you going to do? You need to reach out. If you want better games, if you want more games, you have to reach out for other platforms. And that's what Xbox are doing. They're looking to reach out, make more money from other platforms. In turn, what you get from this? Well, if you've got a lot more revenue coming in, you can make more first-party games and put them on your system. Because I think they still will have an Xbox, which they make 100% profit from. They have PC and give it to Valve, which they make 70% from. They put the games on PlayStation, another 70%. Switch, 70%. They have all this revenue coming in, which means they can have more first-party games, which they make a higher percentage of revenue from and profit from. Because at the end of the day, Microsoft wants to dominate the gaming market, not the console market. As I said, there's not much money to be made from it. You make a loss on the console sold. You only make your money back from software on those platforms. So they want to capitalise and make maximum profits. So once you've got more revenue coming in, more profit coming in, you're producing more first-party games, you're producing bigger, better games. What do you do then? Where do you go then? Well, you buy more studios, don't you? You buy more publishers, more studios. What's the FTC? What's them going to say when these games are third-party, when they're on all platforms? You can't say that you're claiming a monopoly, can you? Because these games are going everywhere. Because that was the argument of the STC. That was the argument of PlayStation fanboys. Oh, you're keeping games exclusive. You're keeping them off our hardware. they're on your hardware now. What's your argument? There is no argument. They can just keep buying studios, like the Embracer Group, like Tencent do. You can just keep buying studios, keep buying publishers. You can basically monopolise that way, and you just sweep up the market. Their revenue will be just incredible. They'll be making so much money, producing so many games. Basically, when you boot up your PlayStation next time, the majority of games you'll be playing on it will be Xbox games. Think of the money they're making that. Think of how much what that does to PlayStation when they know that everyone's buying a PlayStation to play Xbox games. There are so many PlayStation fans that are now backtracking. Now they've spent generations saying Xbox games are trash, but now they're literally capping for these games and excited that these games are going PlayStation. Firstly, look at the hypocrisy and the contradiction in all their decades of statements. So we can't take anything they say as they're not actual gamers, are they? They just capping for plastic. They're the worst. They're arguably the most console warring people in gaming and most toxic. So they've already sort of just ruined all their narratives they've ever had. Not shilling for a company. They're literally doing the definition of shilling. They're only in it for plastic. They don't care about the games, just plastic. But think of their argument when they're going to be playing mainly Xbox games. Now they're going to say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to cap in for Xbox games going to PlayStation," but then they're going to say, "Yeah, I'm not going to play any of those games." Oh really? You're not going to play any of these games? I mean, you already play Call of Duty, and you're going to keep playing Call of Duty each year, but you're not going to play any of these Xbox games. No, you're capping from all going to PlayStation. But you're going to ignore all these games, yeah? Yeah. Is that what we're going to believe? So when these sales come in, they're going to be zero, are they? These games, nobody's going to buy them. You know for a fact that these games are going to sell on PlayStation. You know for a fact that they're going to be picking all these games up. Starfield, I can't wait to see the sales. You know what I can't wait to see? The ratings of these games on PlayStation. I can't wait to the media now that trashed all these games on Xbox now rate all these games up. Because now they're on PlayStation. You have PlayStation fans that already said these games are trash and deserve their low scores, and now saying they're going to score in the 90s now they're on PlayStation. Totally admitted that there's a bias there, aren't they? Why would the same game they said is trash and deserves to be scored a 60? Why would it score 90 on PlayStation? Exactly the same game. Unless there's a bias. You're openly admitting that you're biased and there is a bias, and the whole thing is corrupt and it's just ruined, basically. And that's what the good thing about Xbox going third party is. It will not only just ruin the whole console war, there will be no console anymore, because you get a console war against. If Xbox does leave the consoles market, what are you going to do? And this is why it's also a worry for PlayStation. And I think this is the main thing they're not getting. When all the games you're playing on PlayStation, the majority of them will be Xbox titles. How will PlayStation studios, how will PlayStation compete with this? The money they come in, they're going to have to try to put out more games on their own platform. We're also not taking into account that does Sony want Xbox games to dominate their own hardware? Do they want more Xbox games on their hardware than PlayStation studio games? Is that what they would like? I mean, it's a bit worrying, really, if that's what they need. If they need these games to sort of carry their platform. But there's costs that come into this as well. The costs of games, will they rise now? Will the cost of consoles rise? Now, once again, PlayStation will still be relying on console sales. So without competition, will they now just put up the price of the console? Will you now be paying $800 for a PlayStation 6? Xbox now won't be reliant on a console. It could drop its console. It could sell a console that's equally as good as the PlayStation 6, but its next console can only cost £200, $200. Whereas the PlayStation, still reliant on consoles, will have to put its price up with its consoles because it's still reliant on console sales, on hardware sales, where Xbox won't be reliant on those anymore. It's purely just getting all its revenue from software sales. So to wind down this video, what do I think in the end? To be honest, it doesn't bother me. I don't really care what they do. I made a video about 3 years ago that all games should be released and shouldn't be exclusive anymore. Every game should be on any platform it wants to be, and you just basically buy the hardware to play it on, the platform to play it on, just like PC. I used to be a PC gamer before I come to Xbox, and then I moved to Xbox late in the 360 times. Games should be free to play, and you just play on whatever platform you choose to play them on. Simply as simple as that. It's just the same as like if I want a burger, I should be eat a burger anywhere. I shouldn't only be able to eat burgers in McDonald's. And I shouldn't only be able to eat chicken in KFC. Chicken should be everywhere. Burgers should be anywhere. hate food analogies, but that's how it is. Same as games, same as anything. You should be able to just play anything wherever you want, and you should be able to just choose where you want to play that product based on your preference. That's what it comes down to, preference. Will I still buy an Xbox? Yes, I most likely will still buy an Xbox because that's the platform I like playing on. It's what I'm comfortable with. I enjoy playing on the PlayStation, Xbox. I don't like playing on PlayStation. I don't like their hardware. I think the hardware is awful. I think they're greedy, and the fan base is absolutely toxic. I enjoy the console, the Xbox console. It looks better. It runs fine. It plays good. And at the end of the day, if you've got things like Game Pass, playing every all the games that I want on Game Pass, I don't have to pay a subscription and have to worry about anything else. It's just fantastic. The ecosystem does it for me. It's preference. PlayStation gamers will think the opposite for PlayStation. Who cares? Who gives a shit? Who actually gives a fuck? I don't care where you play your games. Just play them. But it's just, it'd be great to see this whole console war narrative end and people just game again. And I certainly believe that gaming will improve if this happens. But I think PlayStation fans really need to be more concerned about the future of PlayStation if this should happen, and stop worrying so much about, which they've always done, the future of Xbox, because it doesn't look, PlayStation are keeping quiet, keeping the background here, but it doesn't look great for them. I mean, you've got I don't know why none of you are asking for where the first party games are. You're right now capping for Helldivers 2, for example, that it's doing so well day one on PC. Let's just recap a year ago when you said your games never go day one PC and they don't do well because you had to go at Xbox when they start doing it. Games don't do well, it ruins the platform. Now you're literally capping for Helldivers 2 doing that. You can't see how stupid you're being right now, how ignorant and hypocritical you're being right now. Great, well done for the success of Helldivers 2 on PC. Let's hope PlayStation start putting all their games now day one on PC as an example of the success of games being day one on PC. See how it works. Right, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Once again, oh, it's cope. I don't care. What would I care? I don't care. I'll play my games. I'm gonna play. Most of y'all play third-party games anyway, like you will do. Anyway, everyone watching this, mostly play third-party games. You're not playing first-party games. I'm going to play Starfield again, then I'm going to go back into Baldur's Gate, and then go back into Conan, which is my preference games. I don't care what platform they're on. I don't care if you can play them on your platform. I don't care. It doesn't affect me in the slightest. It doesn't affect me at all. I'm still going to play these games. Unless Xbox ends and stops making these games, then that will affect me, because I can no longer play the games I'm enjoying. Until then, I don't care who gets to play them. I don't care when they went to PC. Nobody cares, and that all died off. So anyway, let me know your opinions in the comments below. I'm sure there are going to be loads of salty PlayStation fans still going, oh, you're coping, because they're still caught up in plastic wars. They're still shilling for a company that doesn't know who they are, doesn't care, certainly doesn't care about them. And we see, because this is going to happen to PlayStation. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye for now.